Hey everybody, how's it going today? Happy New Year's Eve to you and a Happy New Year to all my subscribers and anybody out there watching. And certainly hoping that everybody's out. If you go out, you're safe and don't drink and drive and make it home to your loved ones in one piece and don't injure anybody else's loved ones. So please be cognizant of that. But anyway, Happy New Year to everybody and hope it's a safe night tonight and into tomorrow. What I wanted to talk about today really kind of goes back to some other videos that I've done in the past, and I've kind of been doing that lately, going back and drilling down on some particular subjects that I've talked about. In this particular video today, since it is the end of the year and starting a fresh year tonight at midnight, I wanted to talk about the idea of traditions. And with traditions, I'm talking about things that you learn maybe as a grandchild or a child from your elders and people before you. And those traditions can be anything from, sewing, vehicle maintenance, lawn care, my gosh, canning fruits, vegetables, and meats. There's a whole lot of traditions out there. Hunting and fishing, gardening, just all kinds of things out there that for some reason I think, these traditions or these learned skills from families sort of disappear, little bit by little bit every year, and kids are so used to just looking at their iPad or their cell phone of directions on how to do something that they're just kind of limited and dependent on technology. And I'm sure you guys see this every day, But I want to talk about the importance of traditions, and I'm not immune from this either. I should have picked up on a lot more stuff from my grandparents and great grandparents, a lot more than I did, through the years. But I think I picked up enough to where I can have a pretty good, survivability rate should I have to rely on the skills that I've learned. At least a better chance than a lot of people have. So with traditions, if you're maybe you grew up with no father or maybe no mother, or you missed both of them for some reason, but sometimes parents just don't pass things down traditionally like they probably should. So it is what it is. But I would certainly, if you're in the boat with no particular skills other than you got money in your pocket and you have to go buy things, you might want to make 2021, make that one of your New Year's resolutions, is to gain some skills, and it could be anything from learning how to sew to plant a garden to, raising a piece of livestock, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's all kinds of skills that we can learn, fire starting, house maintenance, vehicle maintenance, just all kinds of things, how to clean up properly, how to sanitize things properly. There's all kinds of skills that we all need to get better at. But I would really focus on hard copy or paperback type reference materials for these learning these skills. Get something in your hands that's tangible and not just rely on something electronically, because it may not be there in the future. If you've got something, in a paperback or a hard copy form, or maybe you just print them off the printer and make a binder. That's another option that a lot of people use. But have something tangible in your hand that you can physically go and look at and refer to and go back and reference, if it's something that you're learning and you're not proficient at. And that could be anything from, shooting, target practice, to hunting, all kinds of wild game, trapping wild game, processing wild game, to be able to consume it, how to preserve it. Same thing goes with fishing. There's just all kinds of good material out there, and I would really encourage people to, if you're not familiar with things like that, and you know that you're deficient in a certain area, I would really encourage you to make it a point, make it a New Year's resolution to gain those skills rapidly. You know, go look for things at the half-price bookstore that, you know, these references that can help you. I mean, there's tons of them out there. There's all these survival hack books. There's a lot of people on here on YouTube and Patreon that have a lot of neat stuff too. But you don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, 1 or 2 books, depending on what you're deficient in, might do the trick. Okay? But I really would encourage you, and do it with your kids, you know, or your niece and your nephew, or your brother and sister. You know, if it's something that you know, it's something you can make it a family affair, you know, and grandchildren, you know. If they're living with a single mom and they don't have a, you know, male figure around, maybe you take your grandchild and, you know, teach them how to do certain things, you know. We're losing traditions in this country. And it's traditions, unfortunately, that may, you know, make or break our survivability at some point. So I would encourage people to really look at those areas again, like they understand they might be deficient in, and you know, go from there. And you know, I appreciate your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please let me know what you think about that, and what skills you've learned this year in 2020. What have you gotten better at? What do you need to get better at? There's a lot of us out there that know a little bit about a lot, but we're not experts in any particular field. So we're always looking to get better too, and I'll certainly be glad to you know, participate in that back and forth should anybody be interested. But again, try to make learning skills and, you know, creating traditions or preserving traditions, you know, important again in your life, because I really think that we're going to come to a point where those are going to come in handy. And I would sure hate for anybody to suffer or, you know, be in a position of weakness because they didn't consider that. So everybody have a safe and happy new year. Keep prepping, stack it deep, and remember, long live the Republic.